This is 8.5a of algebra. So far we've taken the two parentheses things, right, like x plus 2 times x plus 3, and we've changed it to look something like this or something like this. Now we're going to go backwards from what we've been doing so far. We're going to start with the polynomial, and we're going to factor it. We're going to put it into those parentheses. Okay, so we're going to look at three different cases. Okay, in general, we have this form, x squared plus bx plus c. Okay, and we're going to put it into parentheses, x plus something, x plus something. And these two numbers need to multiply to be c, and they need to add to be b. So let's look at our problem here. R squared plus 11r plus 24. So our parentheses eventually are going to be r plus something, r plus something. Okay, we got to figure out what that is. So we're looking for numbers that multiply to 24. Okay, so we're going to write it out of pairs. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, 5 and nothing, right? And then we get to 6 and we already have 6, so I'd be done. Okay, now I need to look at those pairs and I need to see which of those adds to 11. So that's 8 and 3. So I'm going to plug those numbers down here. 3, plug in the 8. It doesn't matter which number goes where. Could have put the 8 first and then the 3. But that would be your answer. Okay, so we're going to look at one that's a little bit different now. Okay, if you look at our problem right here, you'll see that this middle number is negative. Okay, so ignore that for a second. Let's just treat it as we would if it were positive. Okay, so our final answer is going to be y plus something, y plus something. And 8 is my last number, so I need to look for numbers that multiply to 8. So that's 1 and 8, 2 and 4, 3 and nothing, and then I get to 4. So that's it. None of those right now adds to negative 6, right? You can't get a negative number by adding two positive numbers. So here's the deal. We need to go back and change these here. Because yes, we need to multiply to a positive 8, and a positive times a positive is a positive. The other way we can get a positive number is doing a negative times a negative. So I'm going to go back and make all of these numbers negative. Right? Because negative 1 times negative 8, that's still a positive 8. Negative 2 times negative 4, that's still a positive 8. Now, which of those adds to be negative 6? Well, negative 2 and negative 4 do. So I'm going to plug in negative 2, negative 4, and then we can clean that up a little bit. We can make that into y minus 2 and y minus 4, right? Adding a negative is the same thing as just subtracting. And that would be my answer. Again, it doesn't matter if the y minus 2 comes first or the y minus 4 comes first. Alrighty, last kind here. If you look at these problems down here, this one, it has a negative number at the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to treat it as if it were positive. So we're looking for multiples of 36. Or rather, we're looking for a number that multiplies to 36. We're looking for factors. So multiplies to 36. Okay, so numbers that multiply to 36, that's 1 and 36. That would be 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 5 and nothing, 6 and 6. But here's the deal. We're not actually multiplying to 36. We want to multiply to negative 36. So how do we make a negative number? Well, we do a positive times a negative. So what I need to do is I need to write this list again. 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through in my first list. I'm going to make the first numbers negative. Okay, because negative 1 times 36, that's a negative 36. Negative 2 times 18, that's a negative 36. Negative 3 times 12, that's negative 36, etc. In the second list, I'm going to make the second number negative. Okay, because 1 times negative 36 also gives us negative 36. 2 times negative 18 gives us negative 36. Here's where this matters, okay? Because if we add these, if I add this first one, that gives me a positive 35. If I add this one, it gives me a negative 35. Okay, so when we have a negative number at the end that we're multiplying to, you're going to have two lists. Now, which of these adds to be a positive 9? Looking for a positive 9, well, that would be this pair right here. So, n plus, and I'm going to plug in the numbers negative 3 and 12. And then we'll clean that up, make that n minus 3 and n plus 12. And there's your homework.